Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Bernie here, along with Pete. Today we got a very late Gimmick cast. Sorry for the lateness, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's just get right into it. So first, we got some movie stuff to talk about, some gaming, sports, specifically soccer and basketball, along with some music stuff as well, including the X versus Ski Mask beef that we'll be talking about a little bit in the show.
Some sensitive boys.
And also just talking about maybe album of the year 2017.
We could have one.
Let's get right into it on the Gimmick cast, boys and girls.
Ow. Oh, I just hurt my... I didn't stretch properly for the intro. All right, we jumping right into movies.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think mostly this is my topic today.
Yeah,
you haven't seen any movies lately, have you?
No, I've just been into my TV shows and my movies.
Let's talk TV too. Why not? What
the
TV
thing,
are you watching?
thing is, I'm watching old Dragon Balls just to get up to date with some stuff. But
can I tell you something embarrassing, guys? And I know some of you, maybe some of you watching this might know that we do a lot of Dragon Ball stuff. Watch our other Dragon Ball content.
Right.
I haven't seen the new episode this week.
Really?
It's 2 days. I haven't seen it. I saw the first 5 minutes of it, and then I had to do something, and I just haven't had a chance to go back.
Come on, man.
I liked it, but I couldn't get back into it because I've been busy. Any other TV shows you watch? None?
I mean, nothing really.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Have you watched Stranger Things too?
No, I haven't bought into the Stranger Things hype.
I haven't watched Stranger Things season 2 yet. I'm very excited to. I want to. I want it. I just haven't had a chance. Walking Dead, which I thought started last night.
Yeah, no,
season 8.
You were wrong.
I was very wrong. 5 weeks into the show.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch. Or is it 5 weeks or 3 weeks? I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm gonna start.
It's definitely past the first week.
I think we're 3 weeks in. I'm gonna watch episodes 1 and 2 tonight. I'm very excited for it. Other than TV shows, I don't think I'm watching anything else.
No. So do you
Key and Peele? I watch old Key and Peele a lot.
No, that's not bad.
It's a good show.
So let's get right into the movies. So you have a movie that you want to talk about specifically.
Doom. I'm gonna start with Doom.
You're gonna start Doom. All right.
Start with an old movie that a lot of people think is shit.
Okay.
Doom, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Carl Urban, I think is his name. That movie is trash. One of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
I love it. If you guys haven't seen it, or if you have, go watch it again. Let us know what you think about that movie in the comments. I just watched it again a few days ago. I saw it in theaters like 12 years ago. Movie is really funny, but for all the wrong reasons.
All the wrong reasons?
It's a wonderful movie. But let's get into the real movie that I wanted to talk about. No spoilers, but we're going to talk about Thor Ragnarok. Easily one of the best Marvel movies of all time. Which I think going into it, I thought it was going to be good, but I thought they were just doing like the Guardians of the Galaxy treatment for Thor. Did you watch Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, I didn't watch it
Man,
yet.
this guy doesn't watch any movies.
No, I've been on my movie grind lately.
So Guardians of the Galaxy is like very like fun and silly.
I mean, I've seen the first one.
You saw the all right, let's just use the first one because that's the good one. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is a trash movie. I'm sorry if you think otherwise, but that really is a very bad movie. And I say this as a big fan of the comics and the first movie. The second one is really bad. I was really excited for it. Kurt Russell is one of my favorite actors of all time, and he was really bad in that movie too. But compare it. Let's just use the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
This Thor movie is very similar to that. Like they wanted to take the silly tone of Guardians of the Galaxy and make an Avengers movie with that, because they're about to start putting the Guardians into the mainstream of the Avengers movies. So I think they're kind of like integrating that style of movie into their main audience movies.
Okay, I got you.
Because Guardians of the Galaxy made a lot of money, but it really wasn't catered towards the mainstream of the Marvel audience with like the Avengers crew. They were showing that wasn't necessarily their prerogative with Thor. They want that to be more their style every once in a while. This movie was legitimately like a comedy movie. It was very funny. Yeah, it was really good. I give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, okay.
I'm reviewing it. Review me. Review the reviewer. But I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because I think there was some issues. There were some pacing issues. But the acting was really funny. The Hulk The whole movie was awesome to watch. There's a lot of Hulk in this movie, which is always a good thing. Mm-hmm. I like Thor. I like Chris Hemsworth as Thor is really good too. The worst character in the movie was I don't even know what that actress's name is. I'm gonna try and pull it up real quick as I keep talking about it. But the lady who played Valkyrie in the movie, she's also in Westworld. Hold on, bear with me, folks. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared. Loki was in the movie, was awesome as well, as always. So her name is Tessa Thompson. She was very very lackluster. But everybody else was super cool. Idris Elba was in it for a little bit. Heimdall came back. Always great to see Idris. I love him. Yeah, it's just a good movie. That's really all I have to say for it. I mean, it's just it's a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
You go. It's not meant to be a cinematic masterpiece, even though this movie was really above average for that style of movie.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I saw it did really well in the box office, like 122 million or 120 million.
Opening weekend. That's
opening
ridiculous.
Weekend, which is really good.
It's gonna make $1 billion. I'll just say it now. It's another $1 billion movie.
Yeah, just another Marvel Disney movie.
It's ridiculous. I mean, do you remember when Disney bought Marvel? Do you remember how much they paid for it? They paid $4 billion.
Yeah.
They've made easily 3 times that already.
Easily.
In 10 years, they've made probably $12 billion from Marvel.
Yeah.
Probably more. I'd be curious to see how much they've made just throughout like all their toys.
Yeah.
All their sales of the movie after they've come out and the actual box office.
Yeah, so I mean they made a lot of money with it.
Crazy.
Just ridiculous.
Super interesting to me. Maybe probably not to everybody else. Oh, I don't want to spoil it. Never mind. Yeah. I almost spoiled something.
Yeah, don't.
Sorry, guys.
Don't
I'll just say this. There's a cameo in this movie from a different Marvel character.
Okay.
And it's a pretty big cameo.
Okay.
And it was incredible.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all he's gonna say.
The best part of the movie for me.
All right, let's move on. Yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about music. We'll talk about the Ski Mask and
oh my goodness,
Triple X beef or Sensitive Boys of 2017.
A couple of real sensitive boys.
Do you want to talk about like what the situation is so everyone can understand it?
Sure, I'll give a little background too, because I don't know if everybody knows this, but Ski Mask, the Slump God, and XXXTentacion came into the music industry with a bang together. X was getting more hype. He's definitely the more popular of the two. Mm-hmm. Unrightfully so, because I do think Ski Mask is a much better musician in totality. But they came in together as best friends who met in juvenile detention. And over the course of the last year and a half, 2 years, they've really grown a lot together in popularity. Claiming many times to be best friends.
Right.
And they are kind of always together until we had the X getting knocked out on stage by one of Rob Stone's associates. All right. And according to the story that's been put out there so far, the beef originated with Ski Mask and Rob Stone, and then X got involved because he was trying to back his friend up.
Right.
And then he got knocked out because of it. And Ski Mask didn't really come to his aid, like, publicly and say, like, anything about it, you know? He didn't say thank you or anything like that for getting his back, which can be left up to some debate, but who knows what happened behind the scenes. Maybe Ski Mask and Rob Stone were over and done with it, and X just continued it. For all we know, that's probably pretty likely, because X is he's a wild card.
Yeah.
So after that, I think that's when their friendship started to dissolve, and now it's come to light that they're not friends anymore. And Ski Mask put out some. Was it a video?
Like IG's video story, something like that.
Some IG video saying like for his business as his artist career, he needs to separate himself from X to. Become his own artist, so to say. He doesn't want to be XXXTentacion and Ski Mask. He wants to be Ski Mask, the Slump God. He wants to be his own thing.
Right.
Which, to be fair, is not that crazy. You know, you kind of want that in your career. He doesn't want to depend on X forever. And some people would say like, you just used X's popularity and now you're doing that. But, Ski Mask is pretty popular of his own right, too. But besides that point, he also came out and said, put a lot of allegations, which are not really allegations because I think they're probably true, really. He came out and said a lot of stuff about X, like threatening his family. And X said something about sacrificing Ski Mask.
Sacrificing him.
Which if that's true, honestly, I mean, if he told me that he's going to sacrifice me, Fusion Corp might be on a hiatus for a little bit. I'd be a little worried.
I'd be a little worried.
I'd be a little worried. So really, like, it's very interesting. And now X is doing this whole thing where he's like, I'm not making music again until Ski Mask Slump God is my friend again. Tell him to be my friend, or I'm not making music.
Right.
That is some childish ass stuff. Yeah. I mean, honestly, Ski Mask is doing like he's trying to be an adult and be a businessman. You know? Yeah. He has a record deal. He's signed with a label. X was for 6 days and now he's not. So I feel like Ski is trying to be a successful professional artist, and he's not getting in trouble anymore. He's not putting out videos with kids hanging and stuff like that, which I didn't really care about, but he's not the controversial artist that X is. So he wants to separate himself from that so he can have a career, a long career. Mm-hmm. I don't blame the guy. And then X coming out saying, I want this guy to be my friend again, or I'm not going to make music, that's some 4th grade ass stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this and just talking about it, like you said, X is kind of being a little bit of a baby about it, not really owning up to what I think Ski Mask now, what he's trying to do is play the game.
I agree.
I think X is still in that stage of, with music, it's like he wants it to be pure and everything's like fun and everything like that, but at some points you do have to play the game with the record labels, with the distribution centers of, distributing out your music to Apple Music and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And Ski Mask is learning that in order to like be successful at the game, you have to sacrifice some stuff and you have to grow up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And that's what X didn't realize. Even when he signed his record deal, I feel like he didn't realize that. But then once he did, what he had to do for it, he said, "Nah, forget it. I'm not doing it." Yeah. And that kind of like ruined his record deal, in my opinion.
Probably. I mean, X is like the definition of childish as a human being, really. Yeah. And like I said, he's a wild card to the point where even as Ski Mask, you can't trust that this guy isn't going to end up ruining your career as well somehow. Yeah. And also, like, who knows if Ski Mask knew all the details from the abuse stuff that came out. He might not have known that. So maybe he saw that and he's like, this guy is scary, Yeah, it's like, I'm not trying to hang out with this dude. Because that's a bad look for anybody involved with X. Like, you can't be best friends with this dude and be super buddy-buddy and not get some of that attention on yourself, too. So, Ski Mask hearing that news and then kind of separating himself makes it seem like he probably didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. And he definitely doesn't support it, obviously. So, exactly. As a business decision, there ain't nothing wrong with it. I mean, you could maybe make some gripes about being his friend in the long term, but even then, if X is doing some of the stuff behind the scenes that it sounds like he's doing, he doesn't sound like a super cool dude anyway.
Well, it's just like not being like a good friend. I mean, we don't know all the backstory stuff, so we don't know if like maybe Ski Mask actually talked to X and said, "Hey, I don't really like that you're doing this, this, and this. Yeah. And let's stop." And because I'm trying to help you as a friend, I'm trying to get you to come to your senses about some stuff, especially with this domestic abuse and just making light of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, now I feel like X is a little bit more serious because he's actually telling people to donate to this and actually donating money to the causes. But at the same time, X still seems childish in the fact that he won't make music anymore just because someone won't be his friend.
And even then, Ski Mask never said, "I don't want to be your friend." He's just saying, like, he needs to separate himself professionally from him in the public spotlight. You never know, like you just said. Ski Mask, there's probably a good chance that he went to X at some point and said, like, cut the shit out. Yeah. Or I need to take a step away from you because I'm not doing that stuff on the side. I'm making music and trying to sell that music so I can have a bunch of money and be super successful. So I don't see how anybody can put Ski Mask at fault here, really, because He never said, I'm not your friend, X. He just said, I don't want to talk to you, or I don't want to be in the public spotlight with you because of how you act. So, what it boils down to is this is 4th grade. This is like legitimate. This is the SoundCloud level of beef that we're going to have forever.
Yeah. It's just...
The United States is the most sensitive country on the planet. And X and Ski Mask are going to show that. The equivalent, the new age of gangster rappers are fighting over being friends or not.
Yeah, it's just... I don't know.
That's where we're at. I mean, it's not... It is what it is. I'm not saying these guys are bad dudes or whatever. X has shown some signs that he might be a bad dude, but I don't know what else to say. This is pretty stupid.
Yeah, like you said, just stupid. And basically just going off your point, just a wild card that you just don't know what will happen if you're in business with him and your business partner, like the people that you're signed to, find out about it, which could screw over your bag.
Yeah.
Then you have to make sure that you secure the bag any way possible without any remorse, because it's your livelihood that you're living off of. I mean, you could be friends with somebody, and I get that. And this might sound a little corporate sounding in terms of just money focused, but at the same time, if you have like a family to support, if you have friends that you want to support, you have to collect the bag. And if someone's going to disrupt collecting the bag, then
I like your secure the bag term. I like that. That's
nice. It's just that's all what it comes down to, really. You want to secure the bag so you have the financial support for yourself, your family, and all this other stuff. I mean, X should understand that because he did that himself almost by having this record or signing this record deal with Capitol Records. But of course, it didn't come through fruition, and we're here now where we're just with the most sensitive people having beef about absolutely just being a friend.
Yeah, being a friend. All right, let's move on to older men who are equally as sensitive. Drake and The Weeknd.
Ooh, we're gonna
two of our favorites, but these boys
gonna be good.
These grown men. You could argue that Ski Mask and X are still kids. They're 19 and 21. They're kids. I mean, we're about their age, but we're still kids. I mean, come on. The Weeknd and Drake are not kids. They're grown adults.
Yeah, almost 30.
Almost 30. I think The Weeknd is a little younger than Drake, but still. Both of these boys are very sensitive. Who are they fighting over?
So, if you guys don't know, apparently... So, The Weeknd was dating Bella Hadid, who's like a model. Also, the famous meme. But if he's wearing these, or how does the meme go? It's the sneaker complex. Yeah. But if he's rolling in these...
He's going to get it.
He's going to get it.
I don't know. Something like that.
Something like that. But it's that meme. So it's that girl from that meme. But, so they used to date, The Weeknd and her. But then, apparently, after they broke up, and The Weeknd's now with Selena Gomez, but that's broken up, but that's a different story.
I mean...
This isn't E-News we're here. We're not here for E-News, but we're going to talk about the Drake thing. So Drake went to Bella Hadid's birthday party, I think, or something. She had a party. Drake was there, and apparently Drake slept with or boned.
Boned. Piped her down.
Piped her down.
That's the funniest term. Side note. That's my favorite
the sex
slang term for sex is piped her down. I think that's real funny.
Yeah. So basically, that's what happened. And now the Weeknd. The Weeknd is very upset that Drake slept with Bella Hadid, and they're on like no talking terms. They're just mad at each other.
You slept with my ex-girlfriend. How could you?
Yeah. Okay, let's just talk about just like regular dudes. So if you slept with someone else's ex-girl, how would you do it? If like she's like a 10 out of 10?
I mean, as a married man, my answer is no, obviously.
But let's take the marriage out of the equation.
Let's just use mentality outside of that. Separate myself from reality. No. I mean, it's fucked up, really. I mean, it's not even really, I don't even know if it's a fair comparison, right? Because who knows if The Weeknd and Drake are really even friends? They have a long history together of making music and business-related stuff.
Right, exactly.
But we don't know if they're friends. Who cares if who's sleeping around? Mm-hmm. You know? What are you so sensitive about? You have $100 million, Drake. Weekend, you probably have a little less than that, but you probably have a lot of money. Chill, dog. Who cares? Ugh.
I just think it's funny, though, because if Drake's really trying to get The Weeknd to collaborate with him and do all this other stuff to make music, this would kind of like hurt them ever having a chance to make music together.
Well, let's do it. Let's go back to the meme. Drake probably came in with some Jordans.
I mean, he does have the OVO Jordans, so...
He probably got it. That's probably why he got it. He came in with the OVO Jordans, according to the meme.
He's going to get it.
Live and die by the meme. Drake came in with the Jordans, and therefore he got it. Is it his fault?
I mean...
You tell us.
You tell us in the comments. Is it Drake's fault?
But let's go back to the question that you asked me. It's much less apt for me to answer that question than it is for you.
Yeah.
A single man. What would you do? What would you do? What would you do?
But what would I do? Oh man, this is hard because at a point, I mean,
we might get too much detail.
We might get too detail, but
just hypothetical.
Like hypothetical. So if I see my friend's girl, like ex-girl.
Ex-girl.
Yeah.
That's more fair to compare to.
Because it's 2X, not 3X. But, I just think it all depends if you have, like, I don't want to sound corny, but, like, you talk to them about it and be like, hey, I mean, like, it's different, though. Like, if you're just for a one-night stand, no. I say absolutely not. But if you want to, like, maybe date her or like do something like that, then you get into a gray area where maybe you could talk to the guy, your friend, about her, and then maybe you could do something with that. Look at this guy just judging me right now. But I just think it's fair game if you talk to them, if you're gonna date them. But one night stand, I don't think that's the move.
This is the worst topic ever on the Gimmick.
No, I think it's good.
It's all right. Not great.
Not great.
No, it's okay. I mean, let's just sum it up, right? Two very different beefs in the last two we've talked about.
Yeah.
But all of it boils down to one thing. Sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. Got sensitive boys running the industry right now. Because those are four of the biggest names in music right now. I mean, from a mainstream perspective, the first two, not really.
No, but...
But still, everybody on the internet is talking about those dudes.
Yeah.
They're all sensitive, equally. They all come from very different backgrounds. Very sensitive, though.
Very sensitive.
Let's move on.
Let's just talk about some albums quick.
Let's get to actual music.
So, just quickly, let's just go maybe 2 minutes total. Let's just talk about the album that you're listening to and what you think of the album. So, of course, Without Warning came out last week.
Yes.
What did you think of it?
I think I'm going to give a hard opinion on this. Out of all those, like, this weird wave of collaboration albums between two very successful individual artists, mind you, Offset is with the Migos, but let's just separate him on his own. And then 21 Savage, this is the best collaboration album.
Yeah, for sure.
Far and away. Because Metro Boomin brought them together in the perfect way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the three of them together it's perfect.
Exactly. And I think this also helps Offset, who was getting a little bit overshadowed by Quavo in terms of, like, singles run.
Kind of, yeah. Quavo's probably the most popular.
Most popular, but this also brought Offset to another level, I think, where it's like, okay, we could feature Offset in our songs, like, more.
Yeah. No, I agree. Offset is...
Now we just have to wait for Takeoff.
Takeoff is good. Don't hate on Takeoff.
I'm not hating on Takeoff.
You're not taking off on hate our Takeoff. If you haven't listened to Intruder by Takeoff, go listen to it. It's a great song. Legitimately a great song.
So if you had to pick one song on this album, what's your song?
I want to pick one with both of them on it. Because I really do like My Choppa, which is 21 Savage.
Yeah, My Choppa's really good.
And then I like surprise pick. I like Nightmare more than I like Ric Flair Drip by Offset. I really like Nightmare. But I would probably pick the second song, Rap Saved Me, featuring Quavo. That is my favorite song on this whole mixtape. I think just the instrumental is incredible. Their verses are great. And then Quavo came in a good verse too. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. I would listen to this type of mixtape. They could put another one out every month, and I'd listen to it every time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that good, man.
I mean, this has potential to be, like, just as far as the whole mixtape is concerned, a banger of the year.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to stop listening to this for a while. It's going to take a long time for this to get out of the rotation.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move on to another album. I just want to shout out Joji.
Joji, okay.
A.K.A. George Miller, A.K.A. Filthy Frank, A.K.A. Pink Guy. A lot of different names for him. His new EP, I think it's like In Tongues, I think is what it's called. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty good. From a guy who used to just throw spaghetti around the kitchen and was in a bathtub of ramen and stuff like that. I actually love Filthy Frank and George as just his YouTube videos. He's one of my inspirations. I know our content doesn't necessarily reflect that, but I love him. This is a great EP. It's really interesting. I mean, it sounds like a lot of stuff that's happening right now, but from him, it's interesting, and it's good. It's above average. It's not great, but it's good.
I feel you. And then do you want to shout out quick Big Crit?
Yeah, Big Crit. Forever in a Mighty Long Time. New album from Big Crit. I actually liked Big Crit a long time ago. What's that? Underground. I can't even remember the title of that album. It was so long ago. I think it was like 2012. Big Crit's album. We're gonna find it quick. Live from the Underground. Great album if you haven't listened to it. Came out probably 5 or 6 years ago. That's an incredible album. Big Crit has kind of fallen off for a while. I think he had a big record label deal that didn't see a lot of success come from it. Mm-hmm. This album, I think he's back independent again. This is an incredible album. This honestly is in contention for album of the year. We had Kendrick's new album come out this year too, right?
Right.
This is better than that, in my opinion. I'm going to listen to this a lot more than I listen to Kendrick's album from this year.
I think that's probably a fair point. I mean,
this is a good one. I mean, Kendrick, love him. It's a great album. I'm just a little oversaturated on him. And I think Big Crit's style is unique enough compared to the current landscape of music that this album came at a really good time for him.
Yeah.
And this is his masterpiece.
For sure.
Best album in a long time from this guy. And just as far as a southern album that's not trap, really. I mean, this has some trap in it, but this is a southern album at its roots.
Right.
It's incredible.
Incredible.
Love it.
All right, guys, we're back into it. So let's talk about sports, and specifically, I know you're excited about this topic, and it's some Champions League. So I just want to read over the group standings first so everyone knows where everyone's at. So in Group A, we have Man U, Basel, and Moscow as 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to read it in that order from 1 through 3. Group B, we got PSG, Bayern, and Celtic. Group C, we got Roma, Chelsea, and Atletico Madrid. Group D, we got Barcelona, Juve, Sporting. Group E, we have Liverpool, Sevilla, Sportac. Group F, we have Man City.
Shakhtar Donetsk, I think.
Yeah. And then Napoli. Group G, we got...
What is that, Besiktas?
Yeah, Besiktas, Porto, and then RB Leipzig. And then Group H, which was considered by many the group of death, we have Tottenham, Real Madrid, and Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, honestly, I didn't even really feel like that was the hardest group. I honestly think C is with Roma, Chelsea, and Atletico. But yeah, a lot of people were saying H for Tottenham was group of death. My boys, though.
Hey, they're beasting and feasting. I mean, we saw the results. I mean, they're up. They're up against Real Madrid. I mean, Real Madrid needs to win the rest of the games. And I guess...
Tottenham needs to lose one. But probably ain't going to happen against those other two teams.
Probably not. But let's just talk about like what the situation is in the issue. So, not really the issue, but we got some close encounters with Group C. We know Roma and Chelsea. Roma's up top of the group. Mm-hmm. Group E with Liverpool, Sevilla. Liverpool's up top of the group. But I think the thing I really want to talk about is just the disappointment. Mm-hmm. After we talk about, of course, Tottenham. Yeah. We have the disappointment with Borussia Dortmund and Atletico Madrid, especially.
Yeah, those are big.
But let's go right into Tottenham since we've been talking about them. Well, how do judging from what people said it was, how do you think Tottenham has been handling this?
I'll say this: they've been kind of lucky in the sense that Borussia Dortmund is playing like absolute trash, not only in the Bundesliga but in Champions League especially. They've been really, really poor. But Tottenham, even in that Real Madrid game was kind of strange too, because Real Madrid are not on form right now. They're playing pretty bad even in BBVA.
Yeah.
Or La Liga. I don't know why I said BBVA. But they're not playing super, super well as it is anywhere. So winning against them right now isn't the craziest feat, but they did still defeat Real Madrid at Wembley 3-1. Honestly should have been 3-0. That goal that Cristiano got was pretty lucky. He got like a really lucky just chance in the box, like right next to the goal.
Right.
But yeah, I was pretty pleased with that. But even then, what I'll say is the game was kind of weird because Real Madrid didn't look like they cared very much, which they didn't really need to because they're going to make it through anyway. So I guess considering that Tottenham and Real Madrid were both for sure making it through after that game, all they needed to do was draw, really. And Real Madrid is not for sure in after that, but they're not going to lose anymore, you know?
Yeah, I don't see
it. Definitely not to those other two teams. But you could tell that Real Madrid wasn't playing their best football. They weren't even really trying to play their best football, and they were missing two starters in defense, Carvajal and Varane. Varane, I think, was missing too. Both of them were out, and then Gareth Bale is hurt, but even he's not playing super good football at the moment, so you can't really count him in. But yeah, I was super excited with it. Tottenham is, I think, Pochettino is all in on Champions League this year, whereas last year they were trying to divide and conquer way too much. They were trying to win the BPL and the Champions League, which I honestly don't know if you can do that.
Right.
It's incredibly tough, even though the team that is probably my favorite to win Champions League is going to win the BPL too, Man City.
Yeah.
They're so good.
They look like a well-oiled machine, man. It's
they
ridiculous.
Are so good. Honestly, they're my pick to win both. They're too good. PSG, pretty close second as far as Champions League is concerned. But back to what I was saying, Tottenham is they're focused on Champions League right now, and you could tell in the Man U game a couple weeks ago, they were more focused on Real Madrid than they were on Manchester United, and it was pretty clear. Minus the fact that we didn't have Harry Kane in the Manchester United game, which is a big miss for us. We need him. He's a killer. He's absolutely a top 15 player in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So when he's out there, he was setting everybody up for success in the Real Madrid game. The first two goals were easily they were not possible without what he did in that game and him being on the field. Dele Alli got both of the goals, and Harry Kane didn't get either of them or an assist, I don't believe. But he was incredible. He bullies people on the field. And Real Madrid had no answer for him up front. Like, he didn't score, but he really was he was pushing them around big time. I'll say this too. Roma is looking really good.
Yeah, Roma's looking really good. You know, El Shaarawy is playing like an absolute out of his mind. But I think the thing I really want to talk about out of this group, especially Group C, is the kind of disappointing form of Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
I mean, if we look at their results here, so they tied with Roma, they lost to Chelsea, they tied Karabag with the man down, and then they tied Karabag again. Then the next game for the reverse fixtures. It's just, I don't know what's going on with this team right now, man. Like,
it's pretty crazy because they're definitely a very above average squad. They have
they have the squad. Sorry to cut you off. They have the squad to compete for a Champions League and win the BBVA or the La Liga.
They definitely do. I mean, they're definitely built for success. So the fact that they're playing this poorly and playing this down to the competition, I mean, they're not making it through the group stage. It's not happening. I mean, there's a chance that they could, but I don't think Chelsea's going to drop that many points, and Roma definitely isn't either the way they're playing. So I don't know, man. It's pretty sad. I like Atletico. Honestly,
too.
I like the way they play, and I really like Simeone. So
Yeah, I mean, in your opinion, do you think that this is kind of like the final factor that Simeone's gone?
I would more lean towards Griezmann leaving. This is a big sign that he's gone.
Yeah, I just think this team is just ready to kind of get rid of people that they don't really want there anymore. Or not that they don't want anymore, but I think the guys there are realizing that it's time to move on to different ventures. And I think Simeone could move on to somewhere in the Prem.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like, let's say Conte, which there's been a lot of rumblings if he can't get his stuff together at Chelsea, which we know they just beat Manchester United, so that helped him out in a big way. Mm-hmm. But if they keep dropping easy points where they shouldn't, if they don't finish in the top 4, who knows? There's a good chance that he's gone. Right. And apparently he's having some disagreements with the upper management of Chelsea. I would not be surprised to see Simeone go there.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like an Arsenal-type coach.
I mean, he doesn't, but I think he would help change the culture of Arsenal.
For sure. I just don't think they would go for him.
I just think they're too... I don't know, the owner, Kroenke, it's just... That owner... Not that we're Arsenal fans or anything, but that owner is just...
Scum.
He's scum and he doesn't know what to do sometimes, but that's besides the point. They're not in Champions League. We're going to specifically talk Champions League.
He's the James Dolan of the Premier League.
That's a great comparison right there. Other things to really note, it's going to be, just talking about my team, Liverpool, it's going to be another tight race. They have reverse fixtures now. They beat the other guy, Sportac. Can't even talk right now. What team is that?
I don't even know the fourth team in that group.
It's Maribor.
Yeah. I mean, Liverpool should make it through, honestly.
Yeah, the thing
their group is super easy.
Yeah, it is. The only thing that's going to suck, though, is that you're going to have teams like Bayern and Real Madrid. Like, let's say that Liverpool goes on through. Mm-hmm. You're going to have teams like Bayern and Real Madrid. You're going to potentially play those guys in, like, the first round of 16.
I feel like Liverpool is in the same position that Tottenham was last year. Like, Tottenham made it through, but I don't think people had very high hopes for them in Champions League.
Right.
And I feel like when it comes time for the big boys, I feel like they're probably going to get smashed. No offense.
I don't think they'll get smashed. I think it'll be a close game. It's just the games where we're going to be playing these other smaller teams. Yeah. The smaller teams like a Basel. Maybe like Porto or one of those type of teams. Yeah. If we play any of those guys, I feel like we could get a disappointing loss because we don't sign anybody. Yeah. Especially defenders is what we really need.
Agreed.
Because other than that, I mean, just right now we're on a winning form finally after weeks of mediocrity. Mm-hmm. Mo Salah is a demigod now.
That is looking like it could end up being, and I said this even before, it really is looking like that could be one of the signings of the whole summer.
Yeah.
They got him for a bargain. He's so good on the wing. Mm-hmm. He's so good. You guys just needed some defenders.
Yeah.
Trash on defense.
Trash. Very trash. Even Jurgen Klopp kind of criticized Dejan Lovren when we played you guys.
I mean, he's rough. So who's your left back right now? Who are you even playing?
I think we're playing...
Is it Moreno?
I think Moreno's playing a little bit more.
Trash. Moreno is one of the worst left backs in the Premier League.
He's good in my opinion. He's good going forward, just not good going back.
He can't defend for his life.
But yeah, I mean...
If you guys got two solid defensive signings, and you have Jurgen Klopp as your coach, and you have the attack force that you have, contenders. Easy. You're already contenders, but you just need a defense. I don't think you can win with what you have right now. But let's give our picks, barring any meetups before the Champions League final. Who's your two to meet at the top?
Two to meet? I think this is going to be the year that PSG goes. And depending on what happens, I think, like you said, I think Man City is just that good. Yeah. Especially with Jesus and Aguero as the front two. I think those two teams, that could be a really interesting Champions League final, in my opinion.
I would like to lean with the two of them too, but I feel like when you have Barcelona and Real Madrid, I feel like they always get their stuff together at the right time. So I'm going to take one of those teams out and fill it in with one of them. I think if anybody, it would be Barcelona this year to come through and get their shit together and make it to the final. And I think it's going to be Barcelona and Man City. And I think Man City is going to win, which is a bummer because I really don't like them. But I think they're going to win.
Yeah, I mean...
Their team is too deep.
It's too deep, and I just think they're well-equipped. And finally, after a disappointing first season under Pep, the owners are really trying to make Pep step up.
I will say this, too, for Man City. We're giving them a lot of credit and not giving them any faults. I will say that their defense is suspect at times. It hasn't shown it just because their holding midfield is so good.
Right.
But Otamendi is not very good. And Stones is not very good. Who knows? He could be. He's super young still, but he's not a world-class defender.
I just think they're good enough in the midfield and the front to kind of just
probably win because of
that.
That's exactly what I think.
And their defense, it's serviceable. I think it's more serviceable than Liverpool because I think Liverpool's I wouldn't say they're like in the same class as those guys, but it's definitely like almost the same kind of build in terms of good midfield, good strikers, just terrible defense. I just think their defense is good enough to not carry them, but to put them in the final compared to these other teams. Like I don't think Man United's ready for it. I mean, Jose is Jose, so you never know how they're gonna play.
They're not winning shit this year. When I honestly, I know we've seen Jose Mourinho win stuff before. I feel like in the modern era of football, as we get farther on with his team, he's not winning.
Yeah, I mean...
You saw it in the Chelsea game. You saw it in the Tottenham game. Even though they beat Tottenham, they looked like shit. They looked not good.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just have to see. It's just one of those things that we're just going to have to figure out and keep watching Champions League and see who goes on.
Who's your biggest disappointment team so far? I know we talked about a couple, but I have one that's not those.
If I had to look at like the standings right now, I would probably have to say maybe either Napoli or Celtic, and maybe not Celtic because that's a little harsh because of what group they're in. Maybe Napoli or Atletico Madrid. I think, especially knowing the talent that Atletico has, knowing that they're not capable to even beat like a Roma. I mean, not saying that Roma's bad or anything, but Roma's definitely not the top dog. Of the league, but. Atletico has enough. They have Griezmann, they have Gamero. Yeah. They have other defenders like Godin.
They have Godin, Gomez,
Oblak. I mean, those guys are good enough they should be good enough to get you through the group stages. You know what's going to suck for this, though? Is that Arsenal, they thought they were going to have an easy kind of Europa League. It's going to be a lot harder when these guys come back and come down.
Atletico? If they have to play Atletico, it's over. I'm going to pick one, which is maybe a bit of a surprise pick because they're still going to make it through their group, is Juventus. I don't feel like they're playing very well, and I was rooting for them to win last year. I thought they had a good chance to win, obviously. Yeah. I feel like their team is way too good to not be in the lead. I feel like, considering how Barcelona's playing, which isn't their best, Juventus should be at the top of that group, but they're not playing very good either. So I guess it kind of goes both ways. Like neither of them are playing to their fullest potential.
Yeah, I just think with Juve, to me they feel a little bit old compared to everyone else.
Yeah, some of them I do agree. I mean, they have Dybala.
Dybala's young. Don't get me wrong with that. I think Dybala's really good, but the rest of the team, I just don't think it's fully equipped to handle another Champions League. I think last year was the perfect time to win the Champions League, and they almost did. To some credit, but Real Madrid with Cristiano Ronaldo, he shows up at the biggest stage at the biggest moments.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, before this Champions League started, I don't know if we ever did a prediction of who was going to win. I probably would have picked Juventus. Just because I feel like their team really is built for a win either last year or this year, or maybe even next year. Their attacking is super good. Their defense is incredible. Their midfield is incredible. I mean, everywhere. And Buffon is still a very above-average keeper.
Right, exactly.
World class. And they got Howardez this year. Who else they got? Matuidi.
They got Blades Matuids.
Douglas Costa, Mandzukic. Their team is good, man. They need to be better than what they're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out later on as, time goes by to see once they get through to the round of 16 whether or not they can fulfill their potential, like you said, if they play up to it. Mm-hmm. They should be, no question, they should be at least in the semifinals or finals.
Agreed.
But we'll just have to see.
Yes. Let us move on to another sporting topic. Do we have any short topics we want to go through?
I think short topics, let's just quickly talk about it since we made a video about it, is the Four Horsemen talk.
Okay.
So, of course, we had Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Kristaps Porzingis, and Giannis as our four that we picked.
Our four boys.
One that I forgot, and I feel so bad because I praised this guy so much, and that is Karl Anthony Towns.
Yes.
I just had a question for you, and just a quick one. Do you think that Karl Anthony Towns should be ahead of Joel Embiid and should be entered into the Four Horsemen? Instead of like a Joel Embiid or a Ben Simmons.
Based on longevity?
Just like based on longevity and like what we've seen so far.
This is a tough shout because like you have Joel Embiid who's so good when he plays. Like he is probably the best. I would take him full health, playing their best game. I would take Joel Embiid over Karl Anthony Towns. But if I had to pick one to be in the NBA for 12 years and be an all-star every 12 years, I'm picking Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, maybe we can compare Karl Anthony Towns more to like a Sting.
A Sting. I like it.
Just like WCW Sting when he had the face paint on.
Yeah.
Not part of any cliques or groups. By himself.
Just doing his thing.
Just doing his thing. I think that's probably more of what I see Karl Anthony Towns as. Mm-hmm. Just looking at it from a basketball perspective. What were you gonna say?
If we're gonna bring up other people though, let's bring up another couple people that we left out. Anthony Davis is only 24 years old. He has a long time left in the NBA. And he's built for longevity. His body size, the way he's built, and the way he plays, he's built to play for a long time.
So would you say that maybe they would form their own faction?
Own faction.
And maybe they'd be Evolution.
I like your wrestling. You're going to the wrestling with it.
Just going wrestling with it because I think it just makes sense. Because, I mean, I'm trying to think of what else. Because I thought maybe NWO, but you said longevity. And, like, the...
Well, I mean, I used the Four Horsemen term just as, like, the four faces of the NBA.
Right.
Right? Who is going to be LeBron, Carmelo, Dwayne Wade, and...
Chris Paul?
Yeah, let's use Chris Paul as the fourth. Or you could... I mean, Kevin Durant's a little younger than them, but you could put him in that discussion, too.
Yeah, I just think Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, they're, like, in their own kind of...
year, generation.
They're, like, in the off year where it's, like, they didn't come in together.
Yeah.
But these guys, they're young, so they may have come in together. It's just...
I mean, there's a lot of dudes who could fit in this discussion, too. Bradley Beal is very good. You have Kyrie Irving's not that old either. 25 or 26.
Miles Turner's also not a bad shout.
He's very good. He's getting better all the time. Andrew Wiggins is pretty good. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't put him on the level of those other dudes, but he's very good, too. Andre Drummond, not as good as the other guys, but he's very above average player.
I think he's a good center. I think now that his free throw's starting to hit a little bit more, he's worked on it, he'll be really good.
About Jokic,
he's
pretty dominant.
He's pretty dominant.
He's pretty good. Gobert is young too. I think honestly, if I had to pick right now, I'm taking the original four that we discussed. I'm taking Kristaps, Giannis, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. Those are my boys. I think they're the four in the below 24 bracket, which is where I want to stick to this.
Yeah.
Those are my four dudes I'm taking. It's the best four. Right now, who knows? Get Miles Bridges come in the NBA and drop 25 a game next year.
Yeah, maybe we might make a video on this just as like NBA comparisons to WWE guys.
Would you like that? I just did a weird stare at the camera. Yeah. Would you like that? Tell us.
Yeah, we might have to.
Kristaps though, man, my boy.
Kristaps.
We'll talk about it more in the charge. Tune in.
But anyway, maybe we'll do a comparison of this stuff. But I would like to kind of put where these guys are at in terms of like WWE perspective or WCW, WWF, in that perspective, just so people can understand how we view these guys as.
So let me ask you another question, I guess. If you're trying to view the Four Horsemen as like an actual,
like a stable,
you're comparing it to the WWE Four Horsemen. That means these guys need to fit into their roles.
Yeah.
Which means we can't take 3 centers or 3 big men. You need to have like a point guard. So we got Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Put him at the point, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
We got Chris Stapps. We'll put him at power forward.
Yeah, the 4.
We'll put Joel Embiid at center.
Yeah.
And then we had Giannis at small forward. I feel like we need a 5th then for the shooting guard.
We'll need a 5th, and that's...
There's not a lot of super good young shooting guards right now, though.
I'm trying to think who. Maybe like a CJ McCollum, but I don't know how old he is.
I wouldn't take him. Not putting him in there. Mate.
Maybe the dude from Milwaukee, but I don't know if that'd be like a cheating.
Brogdon?
Yeah.
It's not cheating. I just don't know if I'd take him as one of the 5 best young players in the league. I feel like there is kind of like a deficiency of shooting guards, like super like talented.
I just think now
guards.
it's just diluted in terms of guard play. I think it's just diluted to where those point guards and shooting guards are mixed in with each other. So it's like the same. All you need is just a guard that shoots well, and then a guard that's just a playmaker.
Or even the forwards are mixing in. We put Ben Simmons as our point guard. He's a forward.
Yeah.
But he can play the point.
I mean, that's the thing with this thing. It's just, let's just get a guard. Just any guard.
Let's pick Kyrie. He's 24.
Kyrie?
Sure.
All right.
Why not?
Kyrie is the, who was the honorary member of the Four Horsemen? Was it Chris Benoit?
No. What? Like Ric Flair and...
Like, I think it was, I don't know if I saw a picture. I just remember just a picture of Chris Benoit taking a picture with Ric Flair in the
member
Four Horsemen.
of the Four Horsemen. I don't think that's a thing. I just spelled horse so wrong. I wrote ours men. Let's see if we can find it. Who is it? The honorary member of the Four Horsemen. I get Chris Benoit? Is it Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and Terry Taylor? Maybe? Is that really a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was just
I just saw his pictures. I guess Sting and Sid Vicious were also part of it.
Nah, we got the original 4 guys. I feel like we're making the 5 horsemen though. I feel like if we're picking a starting lineup, we need 5 horsemen for our team.
Yeah.
I think maybe our original topic was a little off base. We were just trying to pick the 4 best young dudes in the league, and that was a catchy title, to be totally honest with you. Let's move on.
All right, guys, we're back at it again, and we're going to talk about something a little bit more serious in sports. So this is going to be the NFL topic of today, and that is going to be talking about the Colin Kaepernick collusion case that he has against the NFL. Of course, he's suing the NFL for basically just blackballing him out of the league. And what we found out is that now with this case, a couple owners such as Jerry Jones, Robert Kraft, I think Paul Allen's also involved in it as well.
Is he really?
Yeah. So a lot of these guys are involved in the case, and they have to give up their cell phones, emails, all pertaining to Colin Kaepernick. And
Yikes.
just like what I want to know is just from your perspective, what do you think about this whole situation? And do you think it's fair?
Fair
for, like, if it's found out to be true that they held him out, not because of his playing ability, but because of just protests.
Certainly not fair for that. I mean, it's obviously it goes to show a very. All right, I'm gonna get a little controversial. All right, and we talked about business earlier on in the podcast with the X and ski mask discussion. From a business perspective, you can see why an owner might not want Colin Kaepernick on the team right now. We have all this the pizza wars
Pizzagate
going on, where these companies are seeing an obvious decline in their sales because of all the protesting and the NFL dislike at the moment because of all that protesting. So, from a business perspective, it doesn't make it right. That's not what I'm saying. But there is an obvious thought process as to why they would not want to sign Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
But from a personal, just like being a human being, it's wrong from a lot of perspectives and just points. It's not okay. And I mean, it just goes to show some of these guys are definitely, dare I say, racist.
Yeah. Allegedly.
I don't know any of them ever. I've never met any of them. I've seen Paul Allen in person though.
Oh.
Not racist from what I could tell. But who knows? I mean, Colin Kaepernick is much better than a lot of backup quarterbacks. We saw Tom Savage play this weekend.
Yeah.
Trash. Eli Manning, trash. Who else? Brock Osweiler, trash. He's better than all three of those dudes.
Okay.
Eli Manning, up for debate. The other two, he's easily better than those guys.
Okay.
So the fact that this guy can't get a job on any of these teams, there's definitely collusion because there's a lot of teams that could use him. He's much better than a lot of backups in the NFL, and albeit some starters in the league. So not fair. I mean, there's no way they get any information from those cell phones.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the thing to talk about, really. It's just you know that they're probably going to pull a thing where their cell phones might have gotten destroyed, something happened to it, maybe water damage, so they couldn't get into it.
I mean, if you have 30 owners and Roger Goodell come out and say, oh, our phones were damaged, that's just as obvious of a sign of guilt, and I feel like it should be they're guilty, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do a settlement before anything else.
But
I mean, not that it makes it right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, at a certain point, if the NFL, what's a settlement from the NFL going to be? $50 million, $100 million? That's what it should be. You know? Mm-hmm. And if once you get to $100 million or even $50 million, Colin Kaepernick could do a lot of good with that money if he really is about that life. You know?
Yeah.
Which, at this point, I feel like he probably is, just based on necessity. That's kind of his career now, as being an activist. At this point, he's not an NFL player, football player.
Right.
Right now, he's an activist. So, for him, he's going to get something out of this, because there's some negative connotations afoot for all of these owners.
So, coming from my perspective, after watching him play, watching the NFL for amount of times, I think people I'm not going to say they overhyped him, but I think it's one of those things where I feel like some players, they have a prime set. So each player has a different prime, depending on what it is. So for me, like a perfect example of this is Matt Castle. If you remember him back when he was Tom Brady's backup.
I do.
He was good for that 1 year when they played with the Patriots, right? Mm-hmm. Good stats, everything like that. He also played pretty decent for Kansas City, if I remember right.
For a season or two.
So I think that is what's happening with Kaepernick in terms of playing career. This is what's happened to him. It's one of those things where when he first came in the league, no one knew how to play him. Different type of ball player, played very vastly different. But as soon as you start scouting him, as soon as you start learning what's his weakness, what are his strengths, you can take those strengths away, you can heighten those weaknesses, and you can start playing against him a lot better. And I think that's what happened. And I'm not saying that I don't know if his skills deteriorated.
Are you talking about Matt Castle still or
Colin Kaepernick?
Okay.
So with Colin Kaepernick, I don't know if his skills diminished a little bit, but he definitely wasn't the same player from when he went to those NFC Championship games and Super Bowl games to where he is before he was let go or didn't pick up his player option.
Yeah.
I just think that people are overhyping him in terms of his play, per se, because although, he's better than most of the backups out there, and I think he does deserve at least a backup role.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's as good as, like an Andy Dalton. I don't think...
No.
And some people were trying to make the argument that he was, and other kind of quarterbacks. I mean, obviously the Texans situation, I think it's just about scheme and all that stuff. And I think people just kind of say mobile quarterback, put two and two together, when I think there's different schemes and other stuff that you have to read into and skills.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's kind of fucked up that they are doing this to Colin Kaepernick. Because if your goal is to get him out of the league, or like whatever it is you want to do with him, why not just put him in there? Let him play, and if he doesn't perform to a good standard, then that's kind of like your scapegoat. Not to be like very...
No, I agree with you. And what I would say on that matter is like I said, I think Colin Kaepernick is the face of this protesting thing. Obviously, he started it, so he is the face of it. I feel like there would be, like, let's say that the Cowboys signed him, right?
Right.
There would be a lot of backlash from people who are Cowboys fans for signing him.
Right.
So I think not only is it based on that he's not being signed, but also maybe just the NFL ownership team, all the owners, Goodell, everybody, are punishing him for being the cause of this. Because he did start it, you know? So maybe it's like they're being petty and we don't... Based on what he did, now we're in this situation where our ratings are down, our viewership is down, you know? So there's that. But like you were saying, he can play on a team, and who cares if he doesn't ever play? Somebody signed him, then they wouldn't be dealing with this. Like, the New York Giants bring Colin Kaepernick in. He's their third-string quarterback. There's plenty of teams who have third-string quarterbacks. I think every team does, right?
Right.
Can you name a single third-string quarterback on any team?
Not really. I mean, no, I don't think I could.
What does that say about the quality of those players? They're probably, as far as NFL players are concerned, they're probably trash. Colin Kaepernick at least has a track record of being successful. So even if you have no intention of ever playing him ever, sign him. You don't have to listen to this, and it alleviates all the stuff. He doesn't have to play.
Yeah, I just think, like you said, I think what this did was it extended this kind of backlash and all this anthem protest and everything. If someone would have just signed him, whether, it's a backup or third string, I mean, whatever it is, what I think what they fail to realize is that, I mean, look at what's happening now. These owners have to explain why their emails are filled with, let's make sure Colin Kaepernick's not in the league.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, that's just scummy. That, to me, is just the biggest scum, and I just hate blackballing just because of your beliefs and whatever it is. No matter if it's religion, politics. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, it's such a weird situation because for some of them, I don't necessarily agree with blackballing any player for any real reason. But then you have dudes like, let's say Ray Rice, right, was blackballed for a while. His situation, people were still upset that he got blackballed based on what happened. But that situation is completely different. Like, he did do something wrong. Colin Kaepernick didn't do anything wrong based on, like, morality is concerned. He just did something that a lot of people don't agree with. I mean, I feel like Colin Kaepernick in, like, let's just use Seattle. We're from the greater Seattle area. I think more people here probably support protesting than any other state, really. Right. We're a very liberal state. So if Paul Allen really is involved in this, then I guess my thoughts are completely out the window. But we don't know that yet.
Yeah.
But the Seahawks would be a perfect place for him to be, And I'm confused why they didn't. Didn't we have a tryout for him at one point?
I think we were going to have a tryout for him, but then I'm sure the owners probably said, Paul Allen, if you sign this guy, they probably will do something to him in his business or something. Not his business, but like his team. They'll probably be like, we'll punish you. Which I think is just petty. It's just very, I don't know. I think the thing I also get confused with is the Cowboys do this all the time. So they always bring in these guys with baggage at them, right? Dudes that have arrest records, assault records, all this type of stuff.
I mean, Greg Hardy.
That's my example perfect. Greg Hardy. So Greg Hardy was brought in even with all this baggage, and it basically shows you what the NFL standard is. If you have the ability to play, if you have the talent to play, if you can give the team anything from you, like productive-wise, they'll sign you.
Yeah. I agree. And I feel like Colin Kaepernick fits into that. He has just as much to offer as a Tom Savage, as trying to even think.
Like a Brandon Weeden.
A Weeden, yeah. Or, like, man, I'm struggling to even think. Who's the backup on the Giants? Can't be good.
I think it's Nassib.
Nassib from Syracuse. Come on. You telling me Colin Kaepernick can't outthrow Ryan Nassib, for God's sakes? I mean, it's just, it's obvious that he's been blackballed. So the next question is, can they find anything to prove it? Which, if all of these owners come up with some excuse as to why they can't give their primary phone or mode of communication with other owners, they can't give that up for whatever reason, then you have a reason why they're lying. But I just, like we were saying, these guys have burner phones, they have alternate accounts that they talk on.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to make it easy for you to say, like, okay, Paul Allen's email at NFL.com. It's not going to be like that.
Yeah, Paul Allen, Jerry Jones, these dudes have a group of lawyers who are in charge of their other lawyers. Like, that is how deep their bench goes as far as legal stuff is concerned. Jerry Jones is not worried about this. He doesn't care. I don't think he cares.
Jerry Jones will be...
He's perfect regardless. He's perfectly fine being an alleged racist old white man who owns the Cowboys. So,
yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for Colin Kaepernick, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like no one, obviously, no one deserves this kind of treatment. They don't deserve to be blackballed for any type of reason. And I hope that they do find something. I mean, if they do find something, I hope they let the NFL know about it and say, hey, you guys really are fucked up in the head.
Yeah. Do you think there's any chance that they have like a scapegoat type person that they use?
Like the ball boy? Like in the Tom Brady case?
Not the ball boy. I'm thinking like they one of the owners, right?
Yeah.
They just say, hey, we will all give you this and this.
I think
if you take the hit.
I would probably say the Texans owner just because of what he said.
It might be McNair. I mean, he's a racist. We know that now.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was intending to make the comment about the players, which is a racist comment. So
I think he'll be like kind of like the Donald Sterling of like the.
It might be. We might have.
NFL.
I was just about to say we might have a Donald Sterling type effect in the motions.
Yeah.
And I think if it's anybody, it's either McNair or this would be the surprise pick, but I honestly think it has a chance of happening. Goodell himself.
Goodell will probably go. I think it's one of the. I don't know how. I know it's like the NFL owners pick him. But I'd be curious to see maybe in the next CBA agreement when the NFL players and the owners meet. I'll be very interested to see if they do a thing where it's like, we also have a voice and say of who we want to be the commissioner.
They should. I mean, and Goodell has a very proven track record of not being a very good commissioner.
Exactly. I mean, he's just been very average at best.
That is my point as to why he could be the scapegoat. Maybe all the owners are like, you're probably on your way out anyway.
Yeah.
Take the hit and we'll give you this much money.
Yeah, it's
you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, take this cut of the money. You're fine. Your family will be fine for years to come, and just enjoy the rest of your life as an ex-NFL commissioner.
I guess so, man. I think somebody is going to go down because of this. am just very curious to see who the owners and Jerry Jones is one of the ringleaders. Let's be the person.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, isn't Jerry Jones kind of the guy that everybody just assumes is like...
I think it's him and Robert Kraft. I think Robert Kraft is also a big...
Kraft's probably... Yeah, he's probably in there.
Like, not saying he's racist, but saying that he's like one of those guys that... A very heavy influence in the kind of owner community of everyone. I think him, Jerry Jones, more of these like southern...
It's the southern, like... plantation owners.
Yeah.
That's allegedly. They don't own plantations. And I'm not implying that plantations are racist. So don't take that anyway. I was just making a joke.
But, it's just one of those things. We're just going to have to see what goes on from there. And hopefully something happens to where Colin Kaepernick gets his just. That's all I can ask for.
That's all we can ask for. We just hope some truth comes out. And some of these players, Colin Kaepernick obviously being the main one, get some sort of justice in this situation for their sakes. I don't even like the NFL. It's just a shitty situation. This kind of just fuels my dislike for the NFL.
Okay.
I think it's a league run by scumbags. And because of that, the game itself suffers from it. There you go.
All right.
Any more sports on the agenda?
I think that's it for sports. Should we move on to...
Let's move on to video games. We can keep this one pretty short just because I don't think you have a lot to add on video games this week.
I mean, the only thing I have to talk about is just the Activision thing. But this is like a short thing that we could...
All right, let's do that one quick, and then I'll get into my game of the week.
Okay, so if you guys don't know, for Activision, they've been granted a patent to where they're able to kind of... Through the servers, they're able to match you up with somebody that's a lot higher level than you.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, your main objective for the lower guys is to buy loot boxes and customizable stuff so you can get better.
Is this in relation to Call of Duty?
I don't know if this is in relation to Call of Duty, but I think it's kind of like that system where you need like it says here. It says so systems such as loot boxes already use various tricks to encourage players to drop cash.
See, so my big question for this topic is, does that mean these loot boxes drop gear that scales based on your luck? You know?
Yeah. So I mean, like this,
That
for example, if a player purchased a particular weapon, the microtransaction engine may match any player in that gameplay session in which the particular weapon is highly effective.
You shouldn't. Yeah, that should be illegal. I feel like if the effectiveness of whatever you get in your loot box is based on luck and how much money you spend to get these loot boxes, it should all be cosmetic stuff. The loot box should never have any, like, even if the guns were like, they had different looks, but they basically did the same thing, right? Nobody cares at that point, because then you get one you like and you just stick with it. Then you don't have an 8-year-old who's like, oh, I don't have the best assault rifle. I need to spend all of my mom's money to get that.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those things where they're just preying on people and they're testing their will to see if they will spend the money.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, some people don't have that control sometimes where you just want to like get the best gun right away so you can do really well. It's just one of those shitty situations that Activision's trying to put these players in. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, Activision is, if I had to pick, oh, I guess maybe EA. EA might take the cake of like scummy ownership.
EA is pretty scummy. And I think another thing also with the new Call of Duty that came out, apparently one of the missions, it's an optional mission, is to watch someone open their loot box.
It's a mission?
Like one of those like tasks.
That's scummy, because then you're like, it's the same thing as the whole Counter-Strike lottery stuff. Do you remember that, where people, there was the whole scam? It's the same thing, except they're putting it in their game. That's so stupid. I don't know why they would do that.
But that's really all I wanted to bring with gaming news, is just talking about the scumminess, and hopefully nothing of this occurs. And I hope video game, or like us as gamers or people that play games, I hope they take a stand on these type of games where this could happen.
Yeah.
I hope they just say, you know what, we're not paying $60 for just the meat, for the buns. We want the meat.
For the buns.
We want meat. We want lettuce. We want everything in this sandwich. We don't want just stale buns.
That's incredible. We don't want just the buns. All right, let me get into my game of the week. We talked about it last podcast, which wasn't last week. It was almost 2 weeks ago. Wolfenstein 2. Let's get straight into my game of the week.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. I don't know what that was. I was trying to build up suspense. Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. I've beaten it. It only took me a week. I did play a lot of it this week, though. Contender for Game of the Year.
Contender for Game of the Year, okay.
I said that about Evil Within 2, but that was just my personal. I like Evil Within 2 a lot. Right. When it comes down to it, Evil Within 2 is not going to be in the Game of the Year discussion. Wolfenstein 2, it really is. It has a message the whole way through. It's very well written. There's a couple parts that are pretty silly, but it's trying to be silly.
Okay, I got you.
The game it has a sense of humor, and some of it is funny. Most of it's funny, and a couple jokes are not very funny to me. But for the most part, the game is incredibly well written. The story is awesome, and then the gameplay is next level good. Right. Just as far as the first-person shooter is concerned, it's so fast-paced. It's hard. You can do a lot of different things and solve like let's say you go into a room and like you exit a hallway, right? You have a first-person shooter like campaign type thing where you have a hallway where you're just looking around and nothing happens. Then you enter the big room and it's like this is the challenge, this is the level, so to say, and you have to clear out the room of all the guys. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about solving that, minus the fact that you're just shooting everybody regardless. Like, you can stealth it, you can do guns blazing, you can be a little bit more tactical and set people up to die in different ways. It's really a tour de force, so to say, in making a first-person shooter. And they had no intention of making a multiplayer to bog it down with microtransactions or anything like that. They didn't want that. They just wanted a good story. They wanted to tell an engaging story where you felt invested in the characters. They wanted to have tight gameplay. It's tight. I don't know how else to say it. I just spit a little bit. It's tight. Like, none of your motions in the game, none of your controller use is wasted time.
Okay.
It all needs to be utilized in a different way. If you move a little too far to the right with your thumbstick when you're aiming at somebody, it could be your death. Or you could beat the whole level and not lose any health.
Damn.
It's a good game. It's very well tuned. And I think, I'll tell you this too. It's based in 1960s America for most of it. There's some of it that's on Venus. Spoiler. That was a big spoiler, sorry. But it's staying in. But it's after World War II, right?
Right.
But it has a lot of current messages in it about our president and our government in the United States of America that I think are very important. I don't want to say it. I don't want to spoil anything. But I think the point of the game is it's trying to get across a lot about America, the way it is right now, and use World War II and the Nazis as a device to tell a story without being outright critical of the U.S. government. And it's genius. Check it out, guys. Wolfenstein 2. I think my next game I'm going to play South Park, The Fractured Butthole. And I will tell you about it next week. I'm going to do a new thing on the podcast. I'm telling you guys right now, I just thought of this. I'm going to do Game of the Week. And I'm going to discuss a new Game of the Week. Could be old. Could be brand new. Who knows? Just get ready. I'm going to do it every week. This guy only plays sports games, so don't count on it from him.
Probably not.
We have anything else to talk about?
I think that's it. I don't think there's anything there, but yeah, like we said, that's going to be the end of the podcast, guys. Thanks again for watching. If you've made it this far from the video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe.
If you didn't make it this far, fuck you. Nobody's going to hear that if they didn't make it this far.
That's true.
This is an idle threat.
Idle threat. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to comment down below all the stuff that we talked about, like the sports stuff, the music, TV, movies, whatever you guys can think of. Just put it down in the comments below. Tell us all what you want to know, and we'll holler at you guys later. Peace, guys.